Hi scholars, I just wanted to make a brief video about the elevator speech assignment. It's coming up this next week in week 5 module, and so I have the assignment pulled up here, and I wanted to give you a brief explanation that may help you understand how to go about completing this assignment. First of all, this is a very short speech once again. It's a little different from what your test speech was about, and we want to realize that this is basically an introduction of ourselves that we would give in a professional setting when we come across someone that we want to meet. Oftentimes in business, we may be running across people who are working for companies that we might want to work for in the future, or that might be good connections for us to make as professionals in a business setting. And so it's always good to be prepared to introduce yourself to these people. It expands our network. Networking is such a key role in our business communication because it allows us to expand who we know. And as you probably know, in business, oftentimes opportunities don't really come from where you are currently, but where you could go. In other words, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That may seem unfair in some instances, but the great thing is we can expand our own business network by introducing ourselves to people. The elevator speech is a tool to do that. And so I would highly encourage you to read the Forbes article here that I've linked to. I'm not going to go over it, but just want to open it for you and show you that this article gives an explanation of what an elevator speech is. Basically, an elevator speech is a short introduction of yourself, or it could be a short pitch to someone in which you are giving just a very brief, here's what I can do for you type of mini speech, for lack of a better word. It's called an elevator speech because it usually takes the same amount of time that it would to take an elevator ride. So for instance, let's say you go into an office building, you step into the elevator, and there is Bill Gates. Oh my goodness. How are you going to approach him? Are you going to just stand there silently and waste the opportunity to meet him? Are you going to rush him like an avid fan and have him call security on you? Hopefully not. Or are you going to approach him professionally and confidently, introduce yourself, and highlight some of the things that you might could do for him if you want to work for him or work for his company? And so an elevator speech is basically a very brief professional introduction. This particular handout right here on this blue link from UC Davis is a phenomenal handout that you need to access for this assignment. Basically, it's going to tell you what an elevator speech is, how to outline it, what to include, and then it'll give you some samples at the bottom. So as you can see, you want to include information about you. But more importantly, you want to include information about how you can help this potential listener or what you can do for their company. And so this is a hypothetical situation. And if you want to, you can create a hypothetical scenario that's specific. So perhaps your scenario is like the example I just gave. You get into an elevator and there's Bill Gates, and you're in computer science, you want to work for his company one day. Or perhaps you come across Jerry Jones at some function and you want to work for the Dallas Cowboys organization. What are some things that you can do to go up and introduce yourself to leave a positive first impression with these people? And so the focus, yes, is on you in terms of here's who I am, but more importantly, it's on what you can offer them, what you can do for their organization. What are the benefits that can be derived from them? So basically, it's a very short way to introduce yourself in the context of what you could potentially do for them in the future. So you want to end it with some sort of call to action. Now, this may not result in a job at Microsoft or a job at the Dallas Cowboys organization, but it could result in a follow-up meeting. It could result in just another connection that you make in your business or professional life. And so a call to action should probably be how you end this presentation. And so whether it's exchanging business cards, or maybe we can meet for coffee next week, or let's have a breakfast meeting and I can discuss some of my ideas. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach this speech. First of all, it doesn't always have to be about you getting a job with that person's corporation. Maybe you just want to expand your network. Maybe you want to collaborate with this person on a project. Maybe you just want to have some sort of connection with this person or this organization because it would benefit both of you. And so those are some things to consider. Here on the same handout are a list for fine-tuning your elevator pitch. And then here are some examples. Please do not use these examples as your own. You need to create your own information, put in your own experience, your own interests, and your own skill set. Now, I realize that some of you may not have ever held a full-time job. Your job right now is as a student, and that's okay. You can talk about your educational journey. Right now I'm in college, I'm studying this, I want to do this because I want to work for an organization like yours in the future that helps people accomplish XYZ, right? And so feel free to look at these examples, but also at the same time, don't plagiarize them. Come up with your own content. And so you can even adapt it if you are hunting for a job. So that's just a little bit about the elevator speech. It is a hypothetical situation. Typically, it would be one-on-one communication. However, for purposes of this class, you are going to speak to your live audience, your 4 to 6 adults, as if you were speaking to this one person, okay? But you're going to present it as a speech to an audience. Also, you are not going to typically use a note card when you're introducing yourself in real life to a person. But for purposes of this speech, I'm going to allow you to have one note card that has bullet-pointed information, no full sentences. And so this note card will help keep you on track, because sometimes we get a little nervous and we might forget what we plan to say, especially in a public speaking situation. And so this note card will help us stay on track. So you want to practice out loud with your note card several times before you record your speech. Once again, you need to follow the recording requirements as noted in this link. Some of you are finding out that if you don't meet these recording requirements, it's an automatic 0. And so you want to ensure that you are recording your speeches by following these assignments. That includes the number of audience members you have. Then, of course, you're going to post your, I can't get my discussion board to move, but you'll post down here like you did for the test speech. And then I'm going to assign you someone to review. And so you're going to review that person's speech and then leave some feedback under their post, basically things they could improve, things that they already did well. And so I'll post the list of peer reviewers under announcements for next week. And so that is the elevator speech assignment. If you have further questions, first of all, make sure you read these 2 links right here. And if you still have questions, feel free to message me and I'm happy to answer them for you. Thanks.